What's going on, everyone? My name is Dudo, and I'm the Goalie Gear Snob. And for those of you that may or may not know, I'm the Dallas Stars emergency backup goalie, where I served for 39 of 41 home games for the past 2023-2024 season. And while I was at all those games there and got to check out a lot of the goalies and a lot of their gear, and of course film a lot of the warm-up videos as well, I had a lot of time to digest what my favorite setups were, so I figured it'd be a great time now to kind of show off what my favorite top 10 sets of the past season were. I also did just want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Nick Marisi for helping me come up with this idea here. So let's get into my top 10 favorite sets. So starting off in the number 10 spot here is Jacob Markstrom of the Calgary Flames. So I know a lot of people are going to be saying, how is this in your top 10 setup? It's all white with a colored logo, and it seems boring, but that to me is what makes a top 10 set. It's so clean, it's so crisp with the red logos. The red logos match across all of the gear. He has the red strapping on the leg pads, which honestly ties in towards the helmet and the rest of the set, and I just really love the look of it here. So he is using a CCM eFlex 6 pad, glove, and blocker with an Axis XF Pro stick, CCM 14A pants, and a CCM Pro chest as well. So let's enjoy that white and red setup here before we get into number 9. What are the odds that Arizona Coyotes goalie makes it into this list here? So I'm going in the number 9 spot to Connor Ingram. I thought this set looked phenomenal when you tied everything together, from the helmet down to the pad, glove, and blocker, and just the correct kind of hits of color throughout the whole set. I thought it made it look fantastic. So he is using Hyperlight 2 style gear. That at least is what the graphic is showing you, in the white and kind of Arizona red colorway, or maroon colorway, if you will. And I just thought those hits looked perfect. I really liked the Dave Art kind of inspired stencil graphic across the entire helmet, and I thought it just made everything look fantastic. So while he is using a Hyperlight 2 set, he's using a Hyperlight 2 graphic. He's actually using a 2S Pro glove and blocker and kind of a Supreme inspired leg pad with a solid inner knee block. But I love that little bit of hit across maroon across the back of the leg pad. I thought it tied in the entire set. So let's watch a little bit of him. Coming in at number 8 should be no surprise to the people that know me personally. I'm a huge sucker for sport gold gear, so I got to give it to UC Saros right here. So Saros is actually using a full set of PX3 gear in the sport gold weave colorway. It's sport gold, it's weave, it's not yellow. Make sure you say it correctly. So with the sport gold gear here, he's actually wearing them in a 33+2 with a 590 break glove as well. Little note is that he does have a super tight fit leg channel, which is what he attaches the knee Velcro to. So you don't see any Velcro on the outside of the calf, which I think makes it look for a really clean look here. Also, I love the white paint across the bottom of the true one-piece skates. I think that's just an absolute great style point, and I love how the entire set wraps together. I wish when he did get to play the Predators here in town that he actually got to have the start, but it was Kevin Lankinen, so there's only a little bit of warm-up video that I got to show off here. I just thought it looked absolutely phenomenal, so enjoy it. Here in the number 7 spot is Anton Forsberg of the Ottawa Senators. So I'm a huge fan of how he used the red logos across the entire set, including the stick and the gold cage, the gold accents. I think just looked just made everything look so much better, and I really like some of the specs and modifications he had on his pads as well. So you don't see many people still keeping that strap from the knee block, coming out of the knee block across the knee. And I really like the unique use of his skates here. I thought it just looked a lot different from what you would normally see across a lot of the goalies in the NHL. So I'm a huge fan of how everything looked here. Also, small note, I have a little bit of soft spot in my heart for this game because I did actually have to back up and dress after Jake Ottinger got hurt. So Scott went in the game, I had to dress. So I have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for this game here, but I hope you guys get to enjoy this number 7 spot. Here at the number 6 spot is Alexander Georgiev with the Colorado Avalanche. So again, this is another set that is very white based, but when you look at the details of it and how he tried to put the graphic together, I think it looks absolutely phenomenal. So he is using a true PX3 pad, glove, and blocker here. And when you look at the graphics from the pads and the pads and the blocker, it actually matches the away sock graphic, which I think looks absolutely super cool and super unique here. Also, I really like the look of the true one-piece skates and that tiny little hit of black binding he does across the toe. I think it brings the entire set together here as well. Also did just want to point out that I love the super unique silver helmet he has here. I think instead of doing, kind of like the white or the DC blue color that Colorado uses, I think it looks really unique that he kind of skipped out on the normal colors and just went right to the small accent color as the base color of his helmet. So I really like how everything looks here. So let's enjoy the number 6 spot. So halfway through the countdown here, and we are at the number 5 spot. And for me, it goes to Karel Vejmelka. So I don't know why I picked both Arizona Coyotes goalies in this top 10 list. I don't know if it's just because I kind of missed the franchise already, maybe because I'm wearing the shirt, not really sure. But I love the stark contrast of the all white in Connor Ingram's going to a lot of heavy dark colors on Karel Vejmelka's set. So he is using a Brian's Optic 3 set here. It's a very unique custom graphic. And I like how dark the colors are, but you are using pretty much all the colors in the Coyotes color palette. He has the black, forest green, the maroon, and that hit of cream that you see across the pad as well. And I think it just looks so unique across the entire set, and it ties everything in together very well. So hopefully we get to see some cool gear this upcoming season from Melka when he moves into the Utah organization. So let's see if he makes that list next year. But for now, let's enjoy him in the number 5 spot. So here in the number 4 spot is Stuart Skinner of the Edmonton Oilers. So yes, the Oilers did lose the cup this year, but I think Stuart Skinner played phenomenally well throughout that entire cup run and honestly the entire playoff. So for me personally, I do have another soft spot for the Axis XF Pro line, as that is what Stuart Skinner is wearing. I think honestly the Axis XF Pro is super underrated, and a lot of people get stuck on one glove break versus all the other glove breaks that CCM offers, so they tend to shy away from the set. But that's a story for another time. But here you're going to see Stuart Skinner using the Axis XF Pro. He is using a 580 break glove, and I think it looks great on him here. I really like the use of orange kind of as like the secondary color instead of having it be the accent color. A lot of goalies have kind of gone white, blue, orange, but I really like that he went white, orange, blue. I think this set looks great out on the ice. So let's enjoy Stuart Skinner in the number 4 spot. Of course, I have to go with a Dallas Stars goalie here within the top 10 countdown. So I just want to give the edge here to Scott Wedgwood in the number 3 spot. I think Scott did a phenomenal job of using some really super cool, unique gear the entire season and being able to tie all the colors in together across all the colors in the Stars uniform. So he was using a PX3 pad with, he did have a matching glove and blocker, but he ended up going in favor of the Bauer glove and blocker. So he was using a Vapor 2-piece blocker and a Vapor 90 glove, both in which had a very true inspired graphic across them. So I think that's why it looks pretty sweet here, that he was able to connect basically a kind of like a digiprint version of the true graphic onto the Bauer gear. So I think it looks really unique that he has that here. Also, I think it looks even more unique that he added in black stitching across the pads. I just think it added in an extra little bit of depth and dimension. And not to mention that Scott used so much more gear across the entire season, but I think it's really cool seeing this true setup here. So let's enjoy Scott Wedgwood in the number 3 spot. So here in the number 2 spot, I really just did want to kind of talk about how this was a very tough list for me to put together. So coming up with a 2 and a 1 was really tough for me. But here in the number 2 spot, I got to give it to Sergei Bobrovsky. So the reason why I really like this setup here is just because the amount of color he did use across the gear. I think it looks like it was done really well on the True Hazardous PX4 set. So he is using that for his pad, glove, and blocker. Although the glove is not a normal PX4, it looks like it's an older kind of 2004-ish built glove, which would be the L4.1. You can tell by the different kind of lacing across the palm. So I think it's a very unique look that he has here. Also, tying in the stick with a super rounded grip, knowing how he has the helmet with, kind of like that great looking white coming down the chin there. I think everything just looked really well across the set and it tied in really well. I also did really like the color of the Velcro across the back of the pad. I think it just added in a whole extra dimension to the gear. And not to mention that Sergei Bobrovsky is an absolute animal out on the ice. So let's enjoy a little bit of him here in the number 2 spot and just relive some of those crazy warm-up moments that he had. So let's enjoy it. Before I get into the number 1 spot here, I did have some honorable mentions that I did want to shout out here that I have listed over here as well. So David Riddick, Laurent Brossoit, Charlie Lindgren, and Jonas Johansson were all 4 goalies that had a very unique look that I really was kind of hoping would crack the top 10. But sadly, I don't think it kind of cracked any of the other goalies I have said so far. But I think they all had their own kind of interesting, unique look. Starting with David Riddick with his all-out, basically printed gear. I think it looked so unique tying in the LA uniform. I love the chrome helmet he did when they wore their chromes away as well. So I thought that whole look was unique as well. And then looking at Laurent Brossoit, he had a super unique Bauer kind of printed graphic the entire year. And that digiprint graphic actually ran onto the toe bindings of his gear. So that's just an extra little style point I think kind of made it look extra unique as well. Looking at Jonas Johansson, you kind of think it's nothing too special with the true graphic that he had and the layout that he had, but I haven't seen many other goalies use that similar layout that he has used, so I thought it looked great here as well. And then Charlie Lindgren, the fact that he basically has a Von Iceberg graphic kind of morphed and printed into a Bauer digiprint set, I think it looks super cool. He also ties it into his helmet that he has kind of a matching paint job to match the graphic, which just adds a whole extra level of dimension. But I sadly don't think it beat anyone else that was on this list here. So I just want to give a huge shout out to those 4 goalies for kind of making that honorable mention list, that they were kind of getting close to that top 10, but sadly couldn't crack it. And before I get into the number 1 spot, I just want to go through my 1 dishonorable mention this entire year. This might shock and surprise a lot of people, and for those that have known me personally over the last 20 years know that he is one of my absolute favorite goalies. But Marc-Andre Fleury, man, when I got to see him come out on the ice this year in their away game here, I was so disappointed in just how he used that true hazardous PX4 graphic. I'm very aware that when he designed the graphic and kind of how to pick the colors for it, that it made a giant F, and he really wanted to kind of look like it said Fleury, but I just think it didn't translate well here, and it didn't do him any justice from all the great sets that he had when he was in Vegas, even in Chicago, and even when he was kind of starting in Minnesota. I think this set here was just probably one of the worst I have seen him in. I'm sure he doesn't care that I'm saying that whatsoever, but there's just a little bit of a letdown for me. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get into the number 1 spot. So the goalie that I have picked for the number 1 spot of the best looking gear from the 2023-2024 season goes to Jake Allen when he was with the Montreal Canadiens. I got to film Jake when he was with the Canadiens, and then of course when he was moved at the deadline to the New Jersey Devils, but I think that the Montreal set just looked a little bit better here. So mind you, when I'm filming all of these goalies, I'm looking at all of their away uniforms. So for me, when I look at Jake's helmet of basically having the away sock graphic with very visible clean logos on the helmet, when you go into the knee roll separators of the pads, kind of having that staggered colorway, having the Brian Star graphic, the Brian script, I mean, it is phenomenal. It was my favorite set I got to see this year. Another thing I really liked about the set was how he had basically a carbon color or neutral color stick, but he had a little bit of the color behind it as well to tie it in. And I think the entire look was just absolutely my favorite this entire year. The very final kicker that he had was having the white color across the bottom of his true one-piece skates. I mean, chef's kiss. I mean, the entire setup looked absolutely phenomenal. So let's enjoy that number 1 spot of Jake Allen. And also, he was using a great looking set of Brian's iconic gear this year with his custom Optic 2 glove. Really crazy that he switched over to Brian's, but he tied everything together really well with the Montreal simple looks and their vintage looks. And I think he just absolutely knocked it out of the park this year. So I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Brian's as well for helping put that set together. So let's enjoy some of Jake Allen. I just want to thank you guys for watching this video here of my top 10 favorite sets from the 2023-2024 season. I'm going to link all the warm-up videos down below in the description so you guys get to watch the original one as well and see where a lot of these video clips came from. So again, I just want to thank you guys for watching along here, and hopefully you get to see some more of me posting more gear in the 2024-2025 upcoming season. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Dudo, and I'm the Goalie Gear Snob. Thanks for watching this video. I'd really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed, and also rang that cute little Liberty bell for some notifications about what I upload to my channel. Please check me out on some of my other social outlets. Are going to be linked down below.